Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Coding with T. Today we are going to learn how to set up native splash screen in Flutter. If you are already following, you know that we are creating Flutter e-commerce application, and today we are officially going to start our section 2 in which we will start developing our application. In the previous tutorial we learned how to set up or configure our application in a way that any large application can easily be configured, and definitely our project should be designed in a way that we can easily enhance new functionality, or we can reuse our project features and functionalities in other projects. So in section 2 we're going to learn how to create login applications. The first thing we need before coding anything is a splash screen, because every app has a brand, so it's a best way to do the branding. So without wasting time, let's get started with the coding. Open Android Studio and we are inside our Flutter project. So the first thing we need to do is go to the pubspec.yaml file, and inside you have to add Flutter native splash. This is the URL of Flutter native splash, and you have to get the latest version from here. Just copy it, open the pubspec.yaml file, and you just have to paste it. Once pasted, you can run from the terminal flutter pubget or hit pubget from here. Once the dependency is added, there are two ways to add Flutter native splash. The first one is we can directly start coding inside the pubspec.yaml file, and the other way is we should create a separate file and then add anything related to splash screen inside that new file. The reason to create a separate file for splash screen is that we can simply copy and paste that splash file into other projects. So let's first start creating. At the top, at the root level, right click, create a new file. We're going to name it splash.yaml. This is a YAML file, so let's hit enter. Now to create a Flutter native splash screen inside this, we just have to write Flutter native splash colon. In the YAML file, we have to be very careful with the spaces. So you can see at the start we don't have any space, and then next it's automatically given two spaces, 1 and 2. Now we have to create properties for both the light mode and for the dark mode. So first of all, let's see if we want to add color to our background. To add a color, we have a color property in which I'm going to pass light color. In the previous tutorial I talked about that you have to add hexa colors to use colors in the Dart, but in here inside this YAML file you don't have to add hexa. You just have to directly add your color, and definitely it will be inside double quotes. And then if you want to add dark mode, you have again another property called color_dark, and inside you have to pass the dark color. Next, to add a logo, we are going to use the image property. Okay, to add light mode image, again it's a light mode. So first of all you have to add assets. Go to assets, inside the logos I have added two images. This is for the light mode and this is for the dark mode. So to copy this, right click and go to copy path reference, copy the path from content root, go to YAML file and paste it right away. You can see I have not added any single quote or double quotes. Then same, Control D to duplicate, and for the dark mode logo it's again image_dark, copy path reference, and I have to copy the same image and paste it over here. Okay, basically the splash screen is ready, but one more thing, that if you're going to use your application above Android 12, you just have to write Android 12 again right below this image dark, and you just have to copy and paste files the same way we have at the top, and then down below we are going to use web as false, because web is not going to contain any splash screen, and you can see the indentation. Now here comes the tricky part in which you have to put your focus. Open the terminal, you have to write this command flutter pub run flutter native splash colon create, because we want to create the splash screen, and then with the two hyphens path should be provided, because we are creating a separate file. If you don't have separate file, you just have to write colon create and that's it. You don't have to pass this path over here. But if you want to create a separate file, if it's inside some other folder, you have to write folder complete path. But as we have directly inside the root directory splash.yaml, we don't have to provide any path, so hit enter. Again here you can see that our splash screen is completed and it's already added inside our project. Okay, so let's run the application. Okay, as you can see, with the dark mode, splash screen appears for a few seconds and it's gone. Now let's try to switch it to the light mode. Let's rerun it, and you can see the light mode appears for a few seconds and again it's gone. So this is how we create splash screens in Flutter. Now the next thing is that how we can remove it. Let's go to terminal again. If you want to remove your Flutter splash screen, you just have to write again Flutter pub run Flutter native splash colon. Previously we write create, and now we have to write remove. and that's it. You just have to hit enter and your Flutter native splash will be removed. And one more thing, that in upcoming videos in the main.dart we are going to add native splash over here, because we want our native splash to wait until our application loads properly and all the backend or the database loads. So in the upcoming videos we will first write await sign over here, and then we are going to remove the splash screen in the authentication repository. Okay, so that's it for today's video. I hope you learned something new. If you learned something new, please like the video, and if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified of all the upcoming videos. If you want to get the code, you can get it from the codingwitht.com. Link is also in the description. Once again, thank you for watching. Take care. Allah Hafiz.